Okay, so back to where we left. So I'm going to take this action again. So we started off here, we use the Instagram portrait. So we went to file and went to new, and the width for an Instagram portrait is 1080, which is 1080, and the height is 1350, 1350. You set the resolution to 300, and we click on create, and we have this canvas over here. So we are going to bring in the design that we are trying to replicate over here. So this is the design we're trying to replicate over here. So first off, like I said earlier, is the arrangement. Okay, we are dealing with the arrangement, and before we start, let's look for how we get the background set. Okay, so we've brought our image here, and we have our image here as a layer. So on my layers, I have my image here, so I can turn it off and then I can turn it on. All right, so to get this bottom here, all right, what we can do is we have two ways. We can choose to draw an ellipse tool at the top, so let's turn this off. So we can choose to draw an ellipse tool, so we come to the rectangle tool, right click on it, and you have ellipse tool, that is the circle. All right, then you draw your circle. Right, so we have this circle like this. Okay, so we have the top part like this. So holding shift, I can transform it like this. Right, then we have the bottom to be like this. So that curve at the bottom here, we have something like that, like this. Okay, so if you want to replicate the color that was used here, that's the yellow color, what we do is with the ellipse tool, we are going to double click on the shape tool or the ellipse, the thumbnail of the ellipse that you just drew, so the circle you just drew. So you double click on the thumbnail, and this color picker dialog box appears. Okay, this window appears, and you realize that whenever you hover over the design, you have the pointer change to this eyedropper icon. So with that, you can select the color, the yellow color here, and you realize that it picks it. So after picking it, you click on OK, and you can turn off this particular part of the yeah, you can turn off the layer, and you have this yellow background over here. So with this, it's left with a black background at the bottom here. So what we can do is we can come for the ellipse tool again, right click on it and pick the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle at the bottom. Okay, and you make that particular rectangle black by double clicking on the thumbnail and selecting the color black and clicking on OK. You see, like what we learned the other day. So the layers here are the list of the layers here are the list of elements on our design, and the way they are placed here is like stacks. Okay, so it's like stacks. So if you want the yellow part to be on top, you can just come to the layers part and click and drag the ellipse tool to the top, and you realize that the yellow is rightly placed at the top. Okay, so that is how you get the background. Okay, and earlier on I've shared a video with George to share with you people how we can get this particular font, which is this particular font. The name of the font is MTN Brighter Sans, and I'm also going to share with you the link. Let me share it before I forget. So the link to download it is here, MTN Brighter Sans. Okay, so I've shared it in the group. The MTN Brighter Sans, I've shared it in the group. So with that, you have the font. So in that video, you're going to learn how to identify a font and download it. Okay, you're able how to identify a font in a design and download it. And also what you are going to learn over here is how do you find these elements that was used in the design. Okay, so the element that we're using in the design, we have some glowing, you have this glowing effects here, this ring glow effect here, and you have this camera. Okay, the rest are just shapes and images. Okay, so how do we get this glow that was used here? So where we get it is pinterest.com. all right, so you go to Pinterest. So you go to your browser and type in pinterest.com. So in Pinterest, you are going to type in maybe a ring glow effect. So when you type ring glow effect, you are going to get these effects here that you can download from. All right, so you realize that they all have black background. Most of them have black background. Yeah, it's not something that is transparent that you can use. Okay, so you just scroll through, and you are definitely going to find the one that you're looking for. If you don't find the one you're looking for, what you are going to do is one thing about Pinterest is that it tags each and every image. So what I mean is, for example, this particular thing here, if I click on it, it comes with similar effects like that one. Okay, that we can download from Pinterest. Okay, so we can look through the one that we're looking for and we download it, and I'm sure we can find that particular if not at least something similar from here. Let's see. But if you don't find it, I'm going to pick anything else, then I'll show you how to use that particular effect. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use that particular effect, because you realize that they are all having black background. So let me pick something like this one. Let me see. This is it, the effect that was used. This is what I think so this is what the person used. So Pinterest, you click on these three dots, download image. So when you download this image, let's bring this to Photoshop. Okay, this is what you have. It doesn't look like what the person used, right? Yes, but there is a way we play around this. So you pay attention over here. Okay, you pay attention over here. So this is what you are going to do. First step is you are going to your blend modes. You see this top here, you have something that is called normal. So when you click on it, there's a drop down that comes. All right, so when the background, the part that you are looking for is very bright, all right, the part you are looking for is very bright. You look, for example, like what we have here is very bright. What you are looking for is very bright, and you want to get rid of the dark part. We come to this third group. You see, we have the first group, the second group, and then the third group. So where the third group, we have lighting, screen, color dodge, linear dodge, and lighter color. All right, so most of the time the ones you'll be using is the screen and the linear dodge. So with the screen and then the linear dodge, you can pick any of these two. All right, so maybe I pick screen or linear dodge, depending on the one that works best with the particular effect I have at the moment. Right, so you see that the effect has been effected. Okay, like we are seeing the effect now. So this is normal, and when you take it to this part where we have screen or linear dodge, you get this effect. Okay, now getting these elements, the skill that you need is how to describe what you are looking for. All right, what you are looking for, you should be able to describe them. So how do you describe what you are looking for is very, very vital. So looking at this image here, this design here, looking at the camera that was here placed here, we are going to search for a top view of a camera. Okay, that is what we are going to search, but that one we are not going to search from Pinterest. We are going to search from Google. So you go to google.com and type top view of camera image. Okay, and you have access to all this. Okay, so now if I get access to all this, like this here. If I really want this particular image, what I am going to do is that I can go to Freepik and download it. So continue to click on it and then go to Freepik and download it. Alright. So at Freepik, I can click on remove background here, and it is going to remove the background for me even before I take it to Photoshop. Even before I take it to Photoshop, it's going to remove the background for me. Just a matter of time, because it's going to even saves time. Yeah, so it removes the background even before you download. So when I click download, it downloads just the transparent file for me. Then I bring it here. You see, something very simple like this. Okay, so I have my camera here. Let me bring it here like this. Good. So whatever you want to do, and the rest of it is just pictures, shapes and text. Okay, so like I said, the name of the font was what, MTN Brighter Sans. All right, so we have GSA. What was other word? Media. Let's increase the font size. Media. Let's say team recruitment, and let's 30, and then set the line height to about 24. Good. So let me take this off. Now the name of the font, MTN Brighter Sans. All right, so this is it. This is the name of the font. So let's make it like this, and you realize that it's this font. Okay, actually, so you see the T and this T are the same, right? So in the video I showed you how you can identify the fonts, and then you use that how to identify that font and install it. So the rest here is just shapes. I just don't want us to tackle I don't want to tackle everything detail with you guys. So what we are going to do is I'm going to share some of the files with you so that you can replicate this particular design. All right, I just don't want to go into details with you. So we are done with this particular one. Let's look for another one that you guys shared in the group. So in the group, this is very far. Until when? Let's see some of the designs that was shared in the group from the beginning. Okay, Hineba Kweku also shared something like this. Okay, so anytime you see a new design that you really like, do not panic. Everything you see is just shapes and fonts. There's nothing new. The rest of the elements, if you're able to describe it very well, you'll be able to get you'll be able to get that particular image or that element on the internet. Okay, so this question mark, you just type in 3D question mark or 3D red question mark, then add PNG to it. So everything that you are seeing over here is just text and shapes. Okay, so let's download this and then bring it to Photoshop. Okay, so we have it here. So what are we looking for? Is it the background? If you really want the background, you just take your color picker and select the color of the background, and you come to the half filled circle, go to solid color, and okay, and you have that particular color of the background. Okay, so with this particular Japa font, okay, with this particular Japa font, there's a font. The name of the font, I think it will be Jakarta Sans. Let's see. I don't remember actually. Let's see if there's a font like Jakarta. Jakarta. There's a font let me search. Let's search on Google. Jakarta. I've forgotten the name of the font. No, it's not this one. It's not this. There's a font. There's a font. Oh, I know this font. It's been a while. There's a font that I've used before. There's a font I've used before. So what we're going to do is we are going to let's try to identify this particular font. So what we're going to do is select this not here. It's very small to even get it. So let's see, and hit Control I. Holding Control, select the layer here and hit Control C. Now we go to the place we can find this font. The name of the site is whatfontis.com. Looking at how small it is, to be very, very difficult to find out, but let's try. Forgotten the name of this font. So N O and T. So next, so not here. Let's see, this looks familiar. This looks something similar, right? So the name of this font is Beino. So we take note of that and we scroll through to find this. Also looks similar, and this is Brother Bold. So to find, you search on Google Brother Bold font. Okay, so when you search on Google, some of the free font sites will come up with this, and we can download this font, Brother Bold font. But later, if I'm able to remember the name of that particular font, I'm going to share it in the group. It's a font you can find on dafont.com. So I'm going to install it, right click and then install the name that font, and then we'll be able to use it. And let's scale this back. So any other thing that you are seeing on this particular flyer is just shapes and text. Okay, so you have the font, you just draw a rectangle here, and type on it, and you place your image here. Okay, you place your image here. So if you have any question, please you leave it in the comment section or in the chats, the group chat. Okay, leave it in the group chat right now before we end today's lesson. Okay, if you have any question, you leave it in the group chat before we end today's lesson. And you realize that there is also a texture on this particular design. Okay, so those who are using the version of Photoshop that is 2019, you will get that particular texture as part of the patterns, the default patterns in Photoshop, okay, the default patterns. So to find the default patterns, you go to the half fill circle again and you find patterns. So those of us using the recent version of Photoshop, you won't get it because you will have something like tree textures, grass textures, and water textures. So the water texture is something like this, that you can be using. But with older versions of Photoshop, you get this particular rough texture. So to get it, you can also go to Pinterest again. You can go to Pinterest and you go and search for white grunge effect. Okay, let me say grunge effects. Okay, and you have access to this. So looking at the design that we have here, there, we will need something like black particles or white particles, which of them? So let's download this white particles, this white one here. So when you bring it here, so like we did earlier, okay, you scale it. So what we are going to do is to change the blend mode. We want the dark parts, okay, so we are going to the second group. So the second group, we can choose darken, multiply, color blend, burn, linear burn, darker color, depending on the texture that you are using. Okay, so let me take this one out. So now you are seeing it very clearly. So this is what we downloaded, and if you change the blend mode to darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, and darker color, you get that particular grunge effect you are looking for. Okay, and the font we downloaded was Brother Bold. Yeah, anytime you download a font, please relax, it won't come at that moment. Okay, the font won't be visible in the Photoshop at that particular moment, so you need to relax and then wait a while before you come and use it. So so we have this font here. All right, but you can't feel this texture on this text. Why? Because the part you are getting from this texture is just the dark part, and this particular font is also dark. To get a grunge effect on this particular text too, we need to download a dark part. Okay, for the dark part, we need to download for the dark part, and we can choose any of these dark particles here. So let's pick something around this. Okay, this particular one here. So we download image. So you drag the image to Photoshop, release it on the text. You can right click and create clipping mask. Clipping mask means you want it to fall within the text. Okay, so place it rightly on top of the word done and then create clipping mask. So you realize that we have this texture on font. Okay, you see that it's also having this rough texture. So if I even change this font color to maybe something around orange or red, and then change the dark one to the screen or linear dodge, we have this texture. You can feel it. All right, you can feel the texture over here. So that is how we get the texture, the grungy effects, okay, in that particular design. The rest of it is just arrangement, how you are going to arrange and how you draw your rectangles and type your text. Okay, yes. So if you have any question, please do not hesitate to share it with us in the group. If you have any question, do not hesitate to share with us in the group. I'll be very glad to help you out. And before we end today's lesson, I'll be going through two people's design that they did, and we'll talk not much about them. You all did well. The fact that I am going to use their work to for today's lesson means they did very, very, very well. They did very, very well, and I like what they did, because in fact all of you did well. All of you did well. Okay, so looking at this guy's design here, remember in our first lesson, we talked about the principles of design. we talked about the principles of design, and one of the principles we talked about was alignment. Okay, so let me download this image and bring it to Photoshop. One of the design elements, design principles we talked about was alignment. All right, so let's bring our ruler and see what I mean by alignment. So you realize that these elements here are not aligned. Okay, these elements here are not aligned. So first of all, anytime you are doing a simple design, what can make the design stand out is your alignment. Okay, remember always, if anytime you are creating a simple design, what is going to make your design stand out is your alignment. If you want it to be centered, make it centered. If you want it to be left, make it left. If you want it to be right aligned, make it right aligned. Do not place them arbitrarily. Okay, do not place them arbitrarily. It's not done like that. Okay, no matter how creative you want to be, please make sure you make your things align. The only time that you put your your element, your design element arbitrarily is when you are trying to create a work of art, but what you are doing is not art. Okay, art means you are trying to leave the viewer or the reader to identify the meaning or to reason the meaning of the design or the art. So anytime an artist is doing something, he doesn't need to explain himself. All right, he just creates something, and then the viewer or the reader would have to think about the meaning behind it. But as a graphic designer, your work is not so. Your work is to make it simple for the viewer or the reader to understand. Okay, and not to confuse anyone. All right, and you have to make it pleasing. All right, you have to make it very nice and decent. So first off, alignment. If it's center, if it's not, if it is right, right, if it is left, left. You don't put them arbitrarily, because looking at this here, now we have wish you a being skewed up. He has skewed it up. Okay, well, let me straighten it here. So he skewed this guy up. Right click, fill color. Okay. Oh, sorry. Fill color. Okay. So with this guy here, he skewed it. Alright. So right click, skew it down. See what he did to it. So we have to make sure that this is aligned like this. Okay, so we can, if you want it to be here, fine. All right, if you want the text to be here, fine. All right, we have no issue with you. All right, we have no issue if it was here. This doesn't have any problem with it. Okay, but to put it here and it is not aligned with this and you skew it again, no, you have to make sure that your design has some form of proximity. Remember, we also talked about proximity, where we bring light terms together. Okay, if the wishing you and then the happy birthday is one sentence, you don't place them different and make them so different. Make them look like, oh, they are in a family, they are together. Okay, so you bring it together. And the other design was here. Let's see this particular design. Yeah, anytime you are creating an artwork, please remember not to include images with this watermark. Okay, it is very, very unprofessional at this particular stage. Do not use images with watermarks like this. The only time you are going to use images and include the watermark is when you are designing for a corporate business. Okay, maybe a big business, maybe you are working for BBC, you are working for GBC, you are working for EcoBank. You need to, if you are using an image which doesn't belong to the organization, then you use the watermark. So this here is the right thing to do at a certain point, but it's not the right thing to do at certain points. Okay, so if you are working for a big corporation or a company, it is advisable that you include the watermark, because if you don't include the watermark, you are going to put the corporation in a very huge big trouble. All right, you are going to put the corporation in a big trouble. So there are people out there, they've placed their image on the net. If you go and take someone's image, and I've seen a lot of graphic designers do this, they go to Facebook, hairdressers, when maybe a hairdresser has posted a hairstyle, they'll download it and use it to create a flyer for another client. It is very, very, very dangerous, because if the person finds out that you've gone to print her image and use it as a banner for another person, that person can sue your customer or your client. That person, the victim, can sue your client for using her image without her notice. So most graphic designers have been using pictures of models without their knowledge, and it's very, very so. Whenever you want to use an image, I recommend, or anytime you need an image for your design, I recommend you go to Freepik. With Freepik, they've given you access to the image, that you can use it for personal use. But anytime you use it for commercial use, you make sure that you give them credits. Otherwise, you have to pay. Don't see this work as something mere. Any image you are seeing out there, anything can happen and you'll be held accountable. One graphic designer used this guy Sabino's picture for Peak Ghana, and Sabino sued Peak Milk. Let's search for that news here. Sabino's sue Peak. Let's see. He sued the company 1.1 billion naira, just because one graphic designer used an image, his image, for a design. You get it? Without his knowledge. So you have to be very, very careful with the images and then the things, the elements you are using. Okay, so if you know that it's better you go to Freepik and get the image. It is free. That is why it's called Freepik. It's free. You can get it and use it. Okay, it is better to go to Freepik and use the image from there. But avoid using images downloaded from internet that you don't know the source of that image. Don't use such images like that. So it is better that you get Freepik. So this is Freepik. This is where I work. I do most of my work. So when a client comes and he says, Kwame, I want a design as maybe in 30 minutes time, in 10 minutes time, in 5 minutes time, when I come here, I can try to get a template, I can get the image, I can get whatever I want here, and go and tweak it and then present. Okay, so Freepik has helped me so much. So it is better you also pay for Freepik and then use. All right, so what you can do is maybe 5 people can come together and then you contribute money and then you pay for Freepik. Maybe you can pay by the 1 year, and then you all will share the same logins. That would be better. If you can't buy Freepik alone, you can share with your friends. All right, so if maybe 5 of you, 10 of you come together and you contribute money to get the premium version. I am using the premium version right now. So any image you want, all right, you can come here, and it also has AI features which integrated into it. Okay, so you can search for a happy man. So instead of going to use maybe Sheldon's picture for him to sue you, you can come here and download an image of a happy man here, and you see this guy. I know most of you know this guy here. This guy, look at him very well. Let me download him so that I can zoom in for you. You have seen him a lot most of the time on billboards. This guy, you see him on billboards a lot of times. You see this guy on billboards a lot of times, especially for betting, because these guys' images are on Freepik and they are free. If you pay for it, you can use it for commercial use. You get it? These are images that you can use for commercial uses, okay, for commercial purposes, okay, and no one is going to hold you responsible. But please do not use watermarked images for your tutorials, okay? So I gave you a link to download image from Freepik, so use that image. And now we come back to the fonts here. One, we talked about repetition, one of the design principles at the earlier part of this particular course. And then one of the principle I'm talking about is repetition. Please, if you are repeating something, one of the things you should repeat are the colors, the font, shapes. Okay, you should be repeating them. Now, you did well. The person did well with the repetition of colors, and the person did well with the repetition of, the colors. But with the repetition of the fonts, I'm not sure what the person was doing. Okay, because all the fonts I used for that particular class were default font that everyone should have. Everyone, so long as you have Photoshop installed, you should have those fonts. They are default fonts. Okay, so that I did that intentionally, so we use one particular font throughout. So please try as much as possible. If you don't have the fonts, I've shared a video with you earlier, fonts, how to download fonts, okay, and it's going to be shared with you tonight, and I'm sure it's going to be shared with you tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. So please take note, the fonts, do not be using multiple, and there are fonts that we don't use at all. Example, this one, we don't use them at all. We don't use them at all. And two, we don't use serif fonts for flyers like this. This is a birthday flyer. It's a moment of excitement, so the font should be something that is very familiar with children. Okay, and if you start using serif fonts, we are trying to create an impression of luxury, which over here resonates with the colors you are using. Yeah, but this is a happy birthday. It's something that should be exciting. When you say happy birthday, something exciting, not something luxurious, but something exciting. So we should find that excitement in your design. All right, so please be mindful of the colors that you use. Colors have meaning. All right, so these colors here are earthy tones, and they have the feeling of luxury. All right, a feeling of luxury. So that brings us to the end of today's video. Since no one has a question, we are going to end today's video. I'm going to give you maybe a minute or two so to wait for questions from you. Alright, so since there are no questions, so I'm going to end today's video here. Thank you for joining.